Hello, my name is Bennett Schiller with Schiller Hamilton Law Firm. We are here today. I have Joel Hamilton with us, and we're going to talk about our 10-year anniversary. January of 2022 is our 10-year anniversary as law partners, but the story goes back much further than that. So, Joel, welcome to Beaufort.
Yeah, happy anniversary, man.
Happy anniversary.
10 years.
Congratulations on surviving 10 years.
Right. Can't believe it's flown by.
But yeah, but you've been with me much longer than that.
That's right.
So where did you go to undergrad?
Yeah, so I started out at Winthrop in 2002. But I immediately went to work with what was then Reinhardt Matthews, Schiller, Shaw, and Reeves.
That's correct.
Which is still a mouthful.
And what did you do there?
Well, I started out as a runner. Yeah. So, and it was funny. I remember it was, I think, my second semester of my freshman year, and I was looking for a job. And I walked into the law office, put on my finest, JCPenney suit, walked into the law firm with my resume, and interviewed with the office manager, and got hired on the spot. Although, funnily enough, I didn't have a car at the time, and that was one of the jobs of a runner, was to be able to run everywhere.
So the job of the runner is basically to help deliver documents. This is back before.
They didn't have e-filing back then.
Yeah, back before e-filing and the advent of being able to communicate with Zoom and with the internet. It was not very often used by lawyers. We sent you on errands to run and do those errands.
Yeah, I feel like I'm dated. It was, yes, pre-technology.
Yeah, so you got to see at that point, that law firm was essentially a full-service firm. We had several different departments, and your job was to basically run errands for all of the attorneys in the firm.
That's right.
Yeah. But during that time, obviously, you and I got to be really close. I found out that you were wanting to go to law school. So when you were not on errands, you and I had plenty of opportunity to talk about your goals and what you wanted to do. So you worked for us for, 3 years while you were at Winthrop?
That's right.
And then you went to law school when you finished up at Winthrop. Where did you go to law school?
Case Western University.
Okay, and where's that?
That's in Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah.
So during your time, and obviously you had plenty of clerking opportunities in Ohio, where you could have clerked for a local law firm, but you instead chose, by that time, that law firm had split up and I'd gone out on my own. And because of our relationship, you drove back every Christmas and every spring break and during the summer to come work for us. Is that right?
Sure. So initially when I went to Case, I thought I wanted to go to the big firm route, and actually was a business law concentration studying M&A work.
Right.
And I almost immediately discovered that that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to help people. And I saw working at Reinhardt Matthews, Schiller, Shaw, and Reeves that in the injury practice, one had the ability to actually help people. Right. And make a difference in their lives, and make a difference in the lives of a client, and develop a relationship with them, and that they actually really responded to that and needed somebody in that position to help them through a difficult time. Yep. And so it was those experiences that made me realize I didn't want to just push paper anonymously for a decade or whatever.
Right, and you and I had plenty of those conversations because I shared with you my experience when I was in law school. My plan was to go into politics and maybe go work for the Attorney General's office and get some government experience, and then take that experience and get involved in politics. But I had the great fortune of going to work for a very small plaintiffs firm in Columbia, Lee, Eden, Isget, and Popwell. And I know we had this conversation a number of times. It was just amazing to me how awesome it was to see the response from the clients. And like at Thanksgiving and at Christmas, all of their clients were bringing cakes and cookies and all sorts of things, and they were very appreciative of everything that this firm had done for them. And we talked a lot about that. And of course, over the course of your time at law school, when you were coming back and working for me, and at the time it was the Schiller Law Firm, tell us a little bit about what your responsibilities included.
So, yeah, my first day of law school, as I think the same day that you opened the Schiller Law Firm, and I came back and worked for fall break, Christmas break, spring break, summer break, and I think that Christmas break was my first time coming in clerking. And one of my first responsibilities was to help draft demands and actually get medical records together, put files together, basically functioning as a paralegal
Correct.
and clerk at the time. And I remember when I came back, sorry? Oh, it's fine. I remember when I came back to law school and I shared with some of my classmates that I had the experience of actually meeting with clients, talking to other attorneys and insurance adjusters. They were kind of blown away that I had that experience as a first-year clerk,
Right.
basically a summer associate over Christmas break.
So
in a law firm.
Yeah. So obviously at that point I was a one-man show. I had one paralegal and I had a receptionist and also a bookkeeper. And during that time, you pretty much got exposed to everything because I know at one point you were the receptionist. You were also running errands. You were helping the paralegal assimilate all of the demand packages and get all those ready. And then after you finished your first year, you had the opportunity to actually begin meeting with clients with me and then doing some of the intakes. So during those 3 years of law school, you clerked with the Schiller Law Firm. So when you graduated, I know you had plenty of other opportunities to stay in Ohio. Why did you choose to come back to South Carolina and work at the Schiller Law Firm?
Well, it definitely helped that my now wife, who I was dating at the time, was in Charlotte, so that made a big difference, and she's from South Carolina, obviously.
And now y'all met at the law firm that we talked about earlier. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah,
We were
both Winthrop students at the time.
Yeah.
So that certainly helped, but also was the draw of coming back into Rock Hill and the opportunity to continue the relationship and the momentum that we had built. And at the time, my office at the Schiller Law Firm was also the break room, the copy room, the file room, and it was my drum set because I would drum on the desk when I was thinking. And
I remember yelling out several times, "Joel,
yeah, please stop.
Knock it off."
So, part of it was that momentum that I knew that we had built, and I'd obviously bought into the culture of the firm of let's help people. Let's you and I had a relationship as close friends. Sort of a uncle or big brother, or a close bond.
Let's call it big brother.
Right. And I really wanted to continue that, and obviously the opportunity was there. And Rock Hill is and was a city where there's a strong sense of community, and it's a growing city, and there's lots of opportunity there and lots of opportunity to help people. So that's still true. But I recognized that back then.
So you actually started as a lawyer. When did you graduate? What year was that?
That would have been 2009.
2009. So you took the South Carolina bar. You passed the South Carolina bar. You began working for me. And then as we continued to grow, I recall the Lancaster office.
Yeah.
You were able to take over and kind of oversee the Lancaster office. And you did that for several years. And when we decided to open here in Beaufort, you graduated to oversee and kind of manage the Rock Hill office. Remember what was that? 2011, maybe 2012.
So my first 2 years, I worked out of the Lancaster office and Rock Hill. I had offices in both, but spent most of my time in Lancaster. And then in 2011, I believe it was, is when we had the opportunity to open the office in Beaufort. And with you relocating to Beaufort and moving your family down here, and it didn't take long.
It did not take long.
The commute back and forth to Beaufort, I think, got old real quick. And just looking out the window, I know why you fell in love with the area. And around that time was when you relocated down to Beaufort, and my day-to-day responsibilities shifted from the Lancaster office to the Rock Hill office, which at the time, by that point, we had grown and moved into an office on Oakland Avenue in Rock Hill.
Right, and by then we'd also added a couple other attorneys that you had the opportunity to kind of oversee and work with and develop. And then over the course of this relationship, you also kind of became part of the Schiller family.
That's right.
After adopting the kids, they basically, you became their uncle and were part of our family, went on vacations with us and did stuff like that. So our relationship goes back pretty far, nearly 20 years. After moving down here, as we began to expand down here in 2012, you became a partner, which was pretty exciting for us. And so what type of cases have you been able to work on in your experience here with Schiller and Hamilton?
So the primary focus of my practice is injury cases. And that's run the gamut from your parking lot wrecks all the way to, mass transit cases.
Catastrophic bus cases.
Right, catastrophic bus cases and everything in between. And, one thing that you and I have always talked about throughout that, though, is to treat every case as if it is that tragic, catastrophic case, because for the individual, it oftentimes is the most stressful, biggest thing or worst thing going on in their life. And even what some might consider a small case can just have devastating impacts on somebody.
So I know that we focus a lot on client referrals, that most of our business, 70% of our business is word of mouth referrals. Why do you think that is?
Most of our business comes from referrals only because we treat each client like family, and we take care of them. And I recognized and you recognized, and part of it was, your mentorship throughout the whole, my time as a
From
clerk,
runner to law clerk
throughout the whole thing,
to associate to law partner, it's been a mentor, a big brother relationship,
and
right?
part of that, in that process, was relayed, an importance and a seriousness of taking each client as if they were almost your only client, and treating them like family, and making sure that they know that when someone they know, or one of their loved ones, or one of their friends has something happen to them, that person will get the same level of respect and treatment that we afford to that person.
All right. So you're aware, obviously, this is a very competitive market wherein there's plenty of lawyers for which people can choose. Would you agree that that's one of the things that separates us from some of our competition?
I agree. At least I like to think so, and it's borne out in reality. I mean, all of our clients say that. Our staff says that. The people who might refer us cases say the same thing. It's because they're comfortable, and they know that when they do send someone to us, or if a client comes back to us, it's because they were treated right the first time, and they're confident that'll happen a second time.
Yeah, and of course now we have Google reviews, and you can read some of our Google reviews, and they all pretty much say the same thing. Felt like family from day one. They treated me with respect, and we get a lot of that coming back. And I think that one of the other things that I think contributes to that, which may be different, because I've been partners with other lawyers. I've had several. We've had to dissolve 3 other law firms in the past that just didn't work out, and I believe it was largely because in those relationships we were simply business partners, and I think that we've overcome lots of obstacles over the course of the 10-year partnership that could have easily separated the firm into smaller pieces and smaller units, but because of our relationship being more than just a financial relationship or a business relationship, because we are family, we kind of handle some of those conflicts and some of those situations a little bit differently. And so I applaud you for having made it 10 years. I think it's very important what we do. I think having the ability to serve others and make a difference in their lives is one of the greatest opportunities one could have, other than being a school teacher, a doctor, or a preacher. I think that being a lawyer, if done properly and being able to help and serve others, is important. And one of the things that we talk about this all the time when we look for new lawyers, and we're interviewing or we're trying to recruit lawyers. What are some of the things we're looking for in those guys?
Well, one of the things we always talk about is we try not to hire for a position, we try to hire people. And sometimes that means hiring people and then trying to find a position to make them work. But we try to find people who have the same level of caring that's natural to them.
Right.
And people who honestly want to make a lives and serve others. And that's something that, we've made a lot of mistakes in hiring. We've hired a lot of great people. We've hired a lot of people over the years. Yeah. And one thing that we've learned is that it's almost innate. It's hard to instill that in someone.
You got it or you don't.
You either have it or you don't. And you can train skills, you can train procedure, you can train a lot of things, but it's really hard to train a natural caring
Well, Richard
person.
Branson talks about all the time that he hires the person he can teach him the job.
Yeah.
So he interviews personality. He wants the people with the right personality and the right motives, the right heart, because you can't teach respect, you can't teach kindness, you can't teach caring for other people and putting their needs first. And one of the things that I see some other firms where they make mistakes is they put the needs of the firm ahead of the needs of the client. And I'll give you an example of that is, there's plenty of times where we could have taken cases to trial and gotten multi-million-dollar verdicts, but at the end of the day, it wouldn't have benefited the client at all. We would have just delayed their whatever funds that would have been available to collect at the time. If there's $100,000 in coverage, a lot of firms won't settle and take the $100,000 because they want to go to trial and get a verdict, so they can say they got the verdict, and then at the end of the day, they've spent a lot of the client's money, and the client ends up getting a lot less of that $100,000. And I know firms that do that. We've made it a priority not to do that. We make it a priority to put the client's needs ahead of our own. And when we hire, we kind of do the same thing. And so I think that kind of it comes from the top down. I think that our relationship, because we're so close and we view our relationship as family, I think that most of the staff that have been with us for as long as they've been with us, and even some of our new staff, some of our new attorneys, the excitement that they come in once they find out that, who we are and what we do, comes from, a point of mutual respect for one another and love and care and respect for our clients. I think that's been a real advantage. One of the trends for personal injury law firms are to send runners out to go meet with clients at their house and sign them up, and it's usually non-lawyers. The client never has the opportunity to meet the lawyer. We make it a high priority that if you're going to hire us, you're going to meet us. Now we can speed up the hiring process, and you can hire the firm over the phone or over a text or an email, but we insist that the client have the opportunity to come in and actually meet with one of the lawyers and not just the paralegal. And I think some firms, it's just about numbers, and all they care is about how many cases they've signed up, and it's driven by that motivation, where ours is a little bit different. So we may get penalized in terms of the numbers of cases that we're able to have, but I think that because it starts at the top and kind of trickles down, I think that one of the things I'm very proud of our firm that we've accomplished over the years is to be able to create a culture in our firm that has basically two parts to it. One is serving one another as a team. We help each other with cases. We have lawyers that have to call other lawyers and get advice, and there's never any feeling that one lawyer is being put out or being asked, oh my gosh, you're calling me again about this? I've already kind of helped you with this problem before. And I hear it from the other attorneys how grateful they are that they can lean on one another and work together as a team, and same with the staff. And I think the other prong to that is we're very much involved in our communities. Now, as being involved in the community, we see a lot of out-of-town lawyers and out-of-state lawyers advertising within our community, but anytime there's a function going on or a charitable event, you can bet Schiller Hamilton's there. And I think that one of the things that you and I had in common was our desire to give back and serve our community. Tell us a little bit about your service to the community.
Well, and I think that's true, and I think a good example of it is also down the hall.
It's very much down
with
the hall.
Kevin Phillips, because that's another example of someone that we hired based on the person and not necessarily the position. Right. I remember you telling me years before he actually came into the firm that you just met someone that you really wanted to hire someday.
I met Joel Jr.
Right, and that this person, obviously has a desire to serve the community, and you were hoping that we could, put a position together that would make it work for him. And, that desire to serve doesn't stop at the walls of the office, it extends into the community, and that's true of our lawyers in Rock Hill, it's true of our lawyers in Lancaster, it's true of our lawyers in Beaufort. Almost to a person, every single one of them is involved in some efforts to serve their community. Whether it's you with the YMCA board and serving as president for so long and helping the YMCA weather the COVID storm, right, and actually come out on solid ground after, I know it was treacherous and stressful for a while, but I've served on county council and served on numerous boards and commissions within Rock Hill. Same with Derek in Lancaster, serving the community there. And that's a common denominator, and when you do that, you have a tendency to meet other people who do that. And when you are out in the community, you meet people who need service, and you need other people who want to serve.
Sure. So obviously that there is a referral base that we get from our involvement in our community, but both you and I do believe that with where much has been given, much is expected, right? And we have the privilege of having gone to law school, and to be lawyers, there's boards that can use that type of education to be able to give back. But we also sponsor a lot of events as well. Tell us some of the events that we sponsor in if we have enough time. I don't know if we have enough time, but give us some examples of events that we sponsor.
Well, it's hard to think back because there's been so many over the last 10 years.
Hundreds of them.
Yeah, whether it's Roar Soccer or baseball, whether it's
junior
come
college
see me,
football team.
junior college football team, Rams, whether it's Christmasville in Rock Hill, which is a huge event, whether
Children's Attention Home.
Yeah, the list is long,
right.
but
and we also get our staff involved. So not only do we sponsor events, we actually attend events and participate in giving out some information about our firm. But we're also there serving and playing a role in helping set up and take down. I know, like you mentioned, Kevin. He's town of Port Royal councilman. He's very involved. He's basically considered in Beaufort County probably a professional volunteer. If there's a trash pickup, Kevin's on the ground picking up trash. If there's an event that needs someone to get involved and help, Kevin is very much involved. So that's part of our culture. So I think that contributes largely to our success. So where do you see us going from here? I mean, we're celebrating our 10th anniversary together. Are we going for 20?
Yeah, we have another solid 10 years ahead of us. No, I think what we've built, the way that we've built this firm over 10 years, we haven't gone for, quick growth. We have sustainable and sustained culture and growth, which lends itself to longevity, and I think even generational longevity.
Right.
And that's really the goal. And it's different because we don't necessarily think in terms of, a hill that we want to climb or conquer. It's more of, how do we continue to serve this person and then this person, then this person. And I think when you do that, the growth occurs organically.
Right. And so, and I would add this, that, over the course of, our relationship, we've had the opportunity where folks have other problems that need to be solved, and we've unfortunately not been in a position in the past to be able to handle those types of cases, and we've referred them out. So, I see that us heading in a direction to continue our growth, not just geographically, but also with new practice areas. So, we've brought in David Bartholomew to help because many of our clients run into other issues, whether it's in the family court, fighting over custody or going through a divorce, or whether it may be criminal defense that they need, or a family member who has some issues. So, I kind of see that, this sustained growth, there's a certain synergy in being able to solve, not, primarily our firm is an injury firm. And our sign says serving the injured. And, we've done that for many, many years, and that's what I've done for 27 years. But adding these other practice areas allow us and give us the opportunity to make a difference in their lives when other things happen. And, it's kind of like, sometimes bad things happen to good people, and having the ability to serve more than just, their needs when they've been in a wreck, or they've gotten injured on the job, or they're going through Social Security. So given our practice areas being, primarily solving problems, there's plenty of opportunity out there to continue to serve others. So having said that, again, congratulations on your 10-year anniversary being a partner in the firm. I think it was well deserved, and I could think of no better person to be a law partner with, so I appreciate you more than you know.
Thank you, man.
I think that the sky's the limit for our firm if we continue to grow and expand for the right reason. I think that we'll be celebrating our 20th anniversary in 10 short years.
That's right.
So, again, congratulations. Thanks for driving down to Beaufort so that we could have this conversation and memorialize this special time for us. So thanks for coming to Beaufort.
Yep. Thanks for giving a runner an opportunity.
A runner an opportunity. Yeah, and the funny thing about that is, the other partners in my firm always question why I was spending so much time with you. Like, he's just a runner. He's just, he's going to go off to law school and you'll never see him again. And, my investment in you was more because I felt compelled to be able to pass on to you some of the knowledge that I had. And I had no, quite frankly, I thought you would end up going to work for your father's business at some point, because I know your father made you a fairly significant offer to stay there and be of counsel for his company. And so when I was spending time with you, I'd get a little bit of flack from some of the partners. I was fraternizing, and I tried to share with them that, look, this kid's going places. He's got the right heart, and whether he comes back and ever works for me or not, I've done my part, and I've hopefully made a difference in his life. So I think that was important, and I think that's why we've been together for so long.
Well, and I also think because of that, now getting to the point where I am in my career, now I have the same kind of desire and almost obligation, as well as opportunity to sort of,
let's call it an opportunity.
Continue the legacy of passing down that desire and willingness to serve others. So.
Yeah, and it makes a difference. And so anyway, thank you for being my law partner.
Yeah, thank you, man.
All right, we'll see you. All right, thanks for joining us.